There is a massive new crypto narrative that's developing and not many people are talking about it just yet. In this video, we're gonna look into one of my favorite projects from this narrative. It's very similar to GMX, which you know I'm a huge fan of. It's called GNS Network, and in this video we're gonna look into the fundamentals, the things I really like, the things I hate about it, and of course we're gonna do some price predictions and why I'm super bullish on the narrative and on GNS specifically. Let's jump right into it. GNS Network, or GNS, is a decentralized trading platform which allows for trading crypto and Forex, which is a huge benefit, with high leverage, and I mean really high leverage. Other platforms like, for example, DYDX offer up to 20x leverage, and GMX, which is one of the biggest competitors of GNS, has leverage up to 50x, while G-Trade here on GNS has around 150x leverage on all kinds of crypto pairs, and also you can trade Forex with up to 1000x leverage, which is crazy. Just recently, they also started adding US stocks and also US indices that you can trade also with leverage on the platform, which I think is a great competitive advantage also in the entire space, although it doesn't have a lot of volume right now, which we're gonna discuss in a little bit later. I still think it's a unique selling point for this platform and one of the things that I really like about it. As I mentioned, GNS Network is part of the new narrative in crypto that is developing, which I call real yields. And basically what this means that you can stake their own token, in this case it's called GNS, and you can receive in return real assets, crypto assets that are not their own token, so they don't inflate their own token through this process. They pay you back a big share of their revenue, in this case in DAI, which is a stable coin, and you can take up to 10.5% here on Arbitrum currently, which again we're gonna discuss a little bit later in the video. But I believe this is a really sustainable model to distribute profits from the platform to stakers and to people that believe in their GNS token, and I think this narrative is gonna grow just even bigger and bigger after what happened with FTX and Celsius and all the shenanigans in the background, promising people high yields and actually bankrupting. And these people, including myself, will probably never ever see the assets that they still have locked in these platforms. This is a little bit different, and since everything is decentralized and transparent, I think it's a much more sustainable model and people in crypto will appreciate this. Projects like this one, also like GMX, and also like Lux Rare, the trading NFT platform. I think those kind of projects will have at least one cycle in the future, and I really want to be a part of it, and I actually want to support such kind of projects that have such innovation and that offer you a way to invest on the platform and basically have something similar like a dividend payment if you buy a stock that pays dividends. I think this is getting really close to this model and I really like it, and I think it has bright future. Let's jump right into the few things that I really like about this platform, because you probably can tell I'm quite bullish, but I'm gonna be as objective as possible and I'm gonna present all the facts that I'm seeing, and also later we're gonna discuss the things that I don't really like. The first thing is the interface. I think it's very simplistic, very easy to execute orders. You also have limit and stop orders, which I think are very important and are competitive advantage compared to many other platforms. And of course, if we go to crypto markets, something that not many other platforms have, they have a lot of trading pairs, and it's not just BTC and Ethereum and, for example, BNB. They have all kinds of shitcoins that you can trade in here, like for example BAT, Dash, Doge, CRV, Comp. You know, there's a huge variety and you can all trade them with leverage up to 150x leverage. And the way that they are able to achieve this is that every single trade is collateralized by DAI, so by stablecoins, and this avoids the necessity of having separate pools for separate trading pairs and makes the back end of this exchange much easier to manage and much easier to understand. And if we jump to the statistics tab here, which pretty much every decentralized self-respecting exchange has, they have a really nice dashboard here on Dune Analytics, and you can see a lot of data about the overall exchange, the volumes and people that are trading on it. And I want to show you just a few things. First of all, here on average, you can see that in the last few days, they have been a spike in the volume of trades. I was a little bit concerned when I was researching this project because as you can see here from November to the end of December, beginning of January, there was a significant decrease in volume. However, now it seems that the volume is starting to pick back up and it's actually a little bit more than what it used to be, somewhere around here. And if we look at the actual number, this record-setting day here, we had around $160 million traded in crypto and another 160 million traded in Forex. So here you can see that they have attracted two separate types of people. Some of the degenerate crypto traders, but also some of the degenerate Forex traders. And I think this is a very important and significant. And as you can see here, we also have stocks and indices with a total about $1 million of volume. But I still think this will be picking up in the future as more and more people find about this GNS network, and I'm really excited about their future. Another game changer for them was just recently here at the end of 2022, adding Arbitrum in addition to Polygon as a network that you can trade on. And Arbitrum is probably the best, in my opinion, L2 solution for Ethereum. And you can see here that from its introduction to just about a month into it, we're already seeing an exponential growth in total value locked and in trading volume here on Arbitrum compared to Polygon. And actually in the past few days, Arbitrum has become the bigger trading network on GNS, and the total value lock has been constantly growing. Currently we have around 27 million of DAI locked. And here you can see the collateralization for each of the network. And this is actually very important. And once this number continues growing, this means that the platform will be able to offer more leverage trading and bigger limits for many of its users, because it really depends how much money they have available for those trades. And the more they get, this means that the more trades will be able to happen on the exchange. And I think that's very important to see this number grow. For now, it's been growing steadily. As you can see, Polygon hasn't moved a lot in the past month or so, but the addition of Arbitrum, I think it was a very smart move. And definitely this also turns GNS into one of the major competitors of GMX, which I have a full review if you want to look at it in the channel. I'm going to link it down below. But I think GMX has also a very good platform, but GNS has a lot of advantages when it comes to fees. So they have a lot lower fees compared to GMX. They also offer a lot more leverage and a lot more pairs. So these few things I think can push the price of GNS much higher in the future, because this is still a very small market token, and we're gonna look into these numbers in just a little bit. And if we go back to the staking dashboard, here you'll see that they have an inflation of just 1.2%, which is really close to what the inflation of Bitcoin is. And even better, they don't have a huge amount of tokens that are locked. Currently, according to CoinGecko, their circulation supply is almost the same as their total supply, which I really like to see when I'm looking into the tokenomics of a project. And when you combine this with the claimed inflation rate of 1.27%, I think this creates a good place for tokenomics to grow, and also not to have huge spikes in inflation, and potentially to have better price appreciation of the token. However, they also claim that they have already burned around 20% of the total supply since the inception of this project, which was a few years ago. However, I wouldn't just follow them blindly on this one. I couldn't find relative information on the dashboard, and I will be more focused on keeping an eye on this inflation and also on the total circulation supply in order to make sure that they're truly following this, what they're saying here on the dashboard, because don't forget, this is their dashboard and they do it, and we always have to look with all the numbers with a little bit of skepticism. And I'm also going to show you some numbers that don't really match up on different platforms. So I definitely advise, after watching this review, just keep an eye every month or so on the circulation supply and on the inflation rate, in order to make sure that there are no shenanigans that this platform is doing. The last thing that I wanted to show you in this section was on Token Terminal. By the way, if you don't know this website, it's a game changer. It has a lot of good information. And this graph shows the revenue for different projects on the blockchain. And obviously Ethereum is the first one with around 400 million. But then if we go down the line, you'll see that OpenSea is second, DYDX is third, which is, by the way, a decentralized trading exchange that offers leverage. And then a little bit further down, you have GMX with around 20 million revenue for the past 180 days. And if we go further down the line, you'll be able to see here GNS Network with around 3.5 million in revenue. You might say, hey, this is very small and very insignificant compared to the big boys. But that's actually the point, because you can see here there's a lot of growth potential, and as I already showed you, GNS Network has a lot of competitive advantages compared to both GMX and DYDX, and even if it doesn't get to their levels, I think from here it has a lot of room to grow. And if you compare it to something like Avalanche, for example, which is a very well established project, and the market cap of Avalanche is around $5 billion, and the market cap of GNS Network is around $120 million, and it has the same revenue. So you can definitely do the calculations in your head by yourself. And if we go to GNS Network page here on Token Terminal, we also have a lot of cool stats that we can look at. And if I want to compare it directly with GMX, I can do this from right here. If I click competitive landscape, I'll just remove DYDX for simplicity here. And you'll be able to see that the fully diluted market cap of GNS Network is times lower than GMX. GMX currently around 600 million, GNS Network is around 113, 120 million right now. And it's been growing steadily here, and it has a lot of potential in my opinion. And it's that much slower obviously because first of all the revenue, but also the total value locked. You can see the huge difference here compared to GMX. So I think as more and more people learn about GNS Network, I think the network effect will just take place and this will start steadily growing. The last thing I wanted to show you here are the earnings for the project, and you can see here a little bit longer history. So this is the max history that it offers, and you can see that we're hitting all-time highs in November. Also January is very high, October last year was very high, and this has been steadily growing. However, I want to jump right into the concerns that I have with this project, because not all numbers here are equal to the numbers that I'm seeing on different information sources. And if we get these last few months, so in December around 400,000 in profits, and in November around 800,000 in profits. If we go to the GNS Network blog, they have regular updates pretty much for every month, and they have a recap. And they have a really nice screenshot here of what are their profits and so on. And here you can see that for December, they have around 600,000 in profits. If we compare this back to December here, it's quite a lot less. And to be honest, I couldn't find out what is the reason for this. Maybe Token Terminal doesn't have some of the information, or they're taking other things into consideration, or maybe G-Trade is kind of inflating the numbers. I don't know what's going on, but definitely this is one of my concerns, and I definitely don't like when I see such kind of discrepancies concerning such an important number, because this is something that they will advertise on their Twitter, and they will try to pump the price of the token and gain more users. But in reality, if this is not so long term, I don't think that would be sustainable, and definitely I want to see more accurate information all across. Another concern you can also see here actually on the snapshot, platform traders are plus 576. And although it's a plus, they're growing and blah blah blah, if we look a little bit in detail on the dashboard, you'll be able to see that the numbers of traders on the platforms are actually very low. And if we look just at the average for the last few days, old traders are around 400, 500 maybe, and new traders, newcomers are between 20 and 50 per day, which I don't think is really that much. Yes, from July here on the dashboard, you can see they have been steadily growing. However, they're not reaching their goal. In their roadmap, they have a goal that they say they want to have on average above 500 daily active traders. but this is not exactly happening, and I will completely disregard the number of cumulative traders because this could be very easily manipulated. So for example, I just connected my wallet to the platform. Does this mean that I'm a trader already? Do they count? Do I have real volume on the trader, or I'm just someone that's trespassing and checking out the platform after I've seen this video and they count me in? So definitely these are not the numbers I want to see for a platform to really move to the next level, and this is actually one of my biggest concerns when it comes to the project. Also, the people that use GNS are just retail traders like me and you. And here the cool thing about decentralized exchanges is that if you scroll a little bit further down, you'll be able to see all the open trades currently, and you'll see that there are a lot of trades that are actually very small. Just let me show you a few examples. For example, this one here, it's Matic at 2x leverage, and the person is investing around $2,000. This next one is quite big actually for Ethereum, around $100,000 on a 24x leverage, but most of the trades are very small, like 150x leverage, 25x on $80, $100 collateral, $100 and so on. So you see that these are not big numbers and big volumes of big traders. So the moment I think there's a lot more volume from such kind of retail traders, the bigger boys might start coming into this platform, and this will bring it to a whole nother level of trading and of total value locked and potentially of price potential in the future, but we're yet to see this. One more concern that I have is with the APY right here. You can see on Polygon it's around 7.5%, and this means that if you lock your GNS, you'll be getting this much back per year on the tokens that you have locked, which is great. However, when I was checking this just a few weeks earlier, when the volume of GNS was much lower, these numbers were a lot lower. And I mean, this was like 3% APY, which in my opinion is not very attractive. And although something like 78% of the total supply of GNS is currently locked and it's staking, which is great, I don't think it will be great if after a year you have just on average 3 or 4%. This is constantly fluctuating. It's really hard to know how much money you will actually make by staking. And if these numbers don't stay at these levels, I don't think they will be that much attractive, especially if they're unable to attract new users. Although I really like this narrative and I think it has a lot of potential, and it's great that they're paying out in stables, still if the numbers are very low, I don't think this will be that much attractive. And also we have to keep in mind in the whole tokenomics thing that these rewards are paid by minting new GNS, and the whole mechanism works something like this. Let me show you here on their white paper. So they have a certain amount of DAI in their vault, which is locked and it's used for trading. So first of all, if all traders start winning big, the money from this vault will be going away, which means that the rewards will be cut significantly, which could really happen, especially in a massive bull run. But also here you can see that as a backstop for winners of the trades on GTrade, they're allowed to mint a lot more GNS in order to recollateralize the vault, which obviously will mean that the price of the token could seriously collapse. And the inflation rate here, the maximum one that they are mentioning, is 18% per year. Currently is just 1%. So really just keep this in mind. And the supply cap that they have announced here is around $100 million, with currently we have around 33 million in circulation, and they're claiming that the initial supply was 38 million tokens. And this is where it comes the 20% deflation that they're claiming for the overall life of this project. But as you can see here in the little text here and there are ways that this supply could increase a lot more if something goes wrong on the exchange. Obviously, if the other thing is valid and if they're over collateralized like they are right now, you can see here around 110% collateralization, they're using DAI to burn GNS and to reduce the circulating supply, and currently it has been on equilibrium, and that's why the inflation rate is just 1.2%, but we don't know what's going to happen in the future, and I think this definitely is a massive risk, and that's why I'm saying that this APY that I'm seeing right here might not be enough to attract different customers. There's another way to increase your APY actually, and it's, I think, very interesting approach. They do have quite a bit of NFTs which are kind of used as an incentive. So if you buy the NFT, you can stake it here on their page. You can see here you can approve an NFT, and you can have up to 3 NFTs, and they will increase your staking power. However, the NFTs, in my opinion, are quite expensive. So this one is the mid tier, and it offers something like 15% increase on your APY, but it costs 4 Ethereum, and the supply is around 200 items, and there's just 1% of them listed, which is great. This means people buy and hold it. However, again, the rewards return to pay like 4 Ethereum for this and to just get 15% more in APY. I don't know. For me personally, it's just not attractive. For other people might be by the looks of it, or maybe the token holders are just the team, because you can see here for the NFT that the unique owners are just 28%, which means they're not very diversified. A good number here is around 50%. So it could be very real that the owners of the projects just hold the NFTs, and that's why I think this is not a really attractive way, but definitely it's very interesting. And the last thing that I wanted to mention is that after the collapse of FTX, you know that these projects, the decentralized exchanges, might lose some steam, because right after the collapse, there were a lot of people that were saying, hey, this is the new narrative, it's great that we have such exchanges, let's just move over them. However, the experience is not the greatest. Although GNS in this case has good fees, they are not perfect, and the experience is not perfect compared to the centralized exchange. And if this blows over and not many other crypto exchanges go bankrupt, I think people will tend to go back to centralized platforms just because of the ease of use. And most of the people are retail and they don't want to bother with the centralized exchanges. So just keep this in mind. And I think that this narrative might stand a risk of not playing out, that we're all hyped about decentralized exchanges. And that is actually the last concern that I have. But based on all of what I just said, I do have a plan, and let me just quickly share it with you. The first thing we need to mention is that obviously GNS Network is a relatively low market cap coin, so just 120 million according to CoinGecko, but also the exchange diversification is terrible actually. It's basically only on Uniswap and on QuickSwap and on no other centralized exchange. BitGet just added it a few weeks ago, which is a great sign, but I definitely want to see this exchange going to Binance and other major exchanges in the future, and I think this could be a real trigger, and that's why I actually decided to buy a little bit of GNS. Yes, I'm a backholder officially of this project, but this will be a very small position for myself, just because of all the risk that I mentioned, and obviously because of the exchange diversification. If you have seen any of my previous videos, you know that I like projects that have good exchange diversification. However, every once in a while, I like to jump into such kind of projects which I believe in the fundamentals, have high risk, but also they have a potential for high reward. And if we look at the chart from inception, actually we couldn't find a good chart on TradingView just because the token is so new and it's not on any centralized exchange. You can see here that we're forming a very nice pattern of higher lows, and actually we're squeezing here into resistance. My average buy area was somewhere around this area, so around $3.50. If it goes much lower, so if we go back to let's say $1.50, I'll be very excited to buy a lot more of this token. However, I'm also happy with the amount that I currently have, and if we have some kind of a breakout right here, I think I would be adding also to my back. I have left plenty of space to add. It's a very small position for me, but I do think it has a lot of potential, because if we compare first of all the market cap to GMX, which I think is the main competitor, and GNS in my opinion is a superior product. Currently, the market cap of GMX is around 400 million. So it's about 4x, and if we look at the fully diluted market cap is around 600 million. So it has quite a lot of space to grow, and especially in such kind of small market coin, I think a 3 or 4x from here just based on a listing, let's say on Binance, which is not out of the realm of possibilities. Binance lists pretty much everything nowadays. So I think this will be a realistic scenario in the next months. However, in the long term, if we get another bull cycle and if we really get this narrative going about real yield, about perpetual decentralized exchanges. There are a few narratives here that are in play with this token. And also, let's not forget Arbitrum and Polygon, which are the two most powerful L2 solutions that people are watching. And every project on those L2s will also have the potential to have exponential gains much bigger than what, for example, Polygon with its high market cap can do. So definitely I want to have a piece of this, and even if it does 4 or 5x, I'll probably take some profits, but I'll definitely leave a big enough back for myself for the long run, and I will be aiming for something like 40-50x and even further. I'm okay with the risk. I have position sized very low compared to my overall portfolio. This will probably not be more than 0.5%, 1% in best case scenario from my overall portfolio. So I'm okay with this risk and with the potential to make a lot of gains. That's everything for this video. If you have any questions, you obviously know how to find me.